know without a doubt that I could not have done it without the prayers. There was prayers all over the U.S. and even in Africa, and I feel every one of those prayers. And I just want to thank y'all. July 21st, I was not living the life I was supposed to live. I've been saved for quite a few years, since I was a teenager, but I turned my back against God. And I was being around the wrong people, being in the wrong places, just doing wrong. And I knew that, and that was a burden that I kept deep down. I knew I wasn't living the life I was supposed to live. And it took God literally knocking me off my feet to wake me up. But I had called my mom and asked her to bring me some dinner because I was hungry. And I didn't have a place to live. I was staying wherever I could, you know, and I was hungry. And she brought me some lasagna and Gatorade. And I sat in her car. She pulled in the driveway. I sat in her car. I got the food. I talked for a minute, and then I went to get out. And I was standing on the ground, but I was leaning into the car, so I didn't see the car. A car missed the curb. She blacked out. She missed the curb. She went through a ditch. She went through the yard and hit me so hard that it pushed me against the passenger door. My indent was in the passenger door. It lifted my mom's car airborne, turned it the opposite way. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
About 30 feet in a ditch. And I was underneath it. My mom, she got out of the car. It happened so fast she didn't know what happened. And she got out of the car and she heard me whimpering. And she come and laid down beside me and rubbed my arm and told God that if it was my time that he could have me. But that she really wanted to spend more time with me. The helicopter came finally, and they had to resuscitate me multiple times all the way to the hospital. My lungs had collapsed. I'm just going to go over a list of everything that thank you, Hacker. It severed my legs on the scene. I had a brain trauma, which also blew out my eye. So everybody's a blur right now because I have these special glasses, but I'm too embarrassed to wear them sometimes. It damaged the arteries in my neck that feed your brain blood, which one of them is, the left one is completely, or the right one's completely healed. The left one still needs some healing done, but it's well on its way. It collapsed my lungs, put a hole in my bladder. I lost a kidney. It ripped my liver. Everything was so swollen that they had to keep me open for 3 weeks until the swelling came down. So they had like a plastic and a sheet over me when I had visitors because, I mean, I was open. In the first transfusion, I had 20 coolers of blood products. That was the most that the woman that worked there had ever seen, and she worked there for 4 years. That alone should have taken my life. But God had another purpose for me, and I am so thankful. They had a problem balancing the blood thinner because of strokes. They had to give me enough blood thinner, but they couldn't stop the bleeding, so they had to clot my blood. And there was a thin line on the risk of strokes, because if I had a stroke, they would have to let me go. I spent 41 days in ICU, 39 surgeries, 98 days in the hospital, and not one doctor gave up on me. The rehab place was amazing. Everybody was amazing. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, and if I heard someone talking bad about the hospital that worked there in the cafeteria, and I just wanted to jump up and tell them, no, they're wonderful. You know, if you have a trauma, definitely come here, because they did not give up on me against all odds. I went to the doctor, and he was looking at my x-rays. He said, we didn't save half your x-rays because we didn't expect you to survive. So I am definitely a miracle, and I know God has a plan for me. And I want to thank y'all. One thing I want to point out, when I was in Rogers C. Peace, which is the rehab place, I contacted the girl that hit me. And I was told her I wasn't mad at her, that I didn't have any hard feelings, but I wanted to meet her. So she came up there and she cried. And I hugged her and I told her, I'm okay. You know, you can have peace about this because I'm okay. And I forgive you. And she says that she blacked out, which all the evidence points to that because there were no brake marks at all. She got charged with 2 fast food conditions. But I'm thankful that she didn't get any more, because she's having to live with this too, just as much as I am. This has affected so many people, and it's not just me. My parents, to me, I believe they've suffered more than I have, because I don't remember any of the hospital. I don't remember. It's God's gift to me to not to remember. But they experienced every bit of it. They remember. And I just pray that y'all continue to be with them for my dad. And thank you for being there for my dad. Because, like I said, they suffered more than I have. And I'm so thankful for my mom and my dad. They are wonderful people, and they have done everything for me. My dad and I, I've always been there with my dad. Like every other weekend he would get me regardless. And I never really connected with my dad. But then when he would come and stay the weekends in the hospital with me, we cut up, we talked, we had serious talk, we had playful talk. I connected with my dad. And I'm so thankful for that relationship. But I just want to thank y'all again for the prayers, because I could not have done it without prayers. I've seen God in so many ways work for the good of this horrific accident. You know, yeah, there's bad, but God's amazing, and He is working in every corner that I turn. He's there. He has done something that's positive. In every move I make, every way I look, I see God. And I don't want to ever lose that. I don't want these memories to fade. You know, I want them to stay real in my mind. And I just, once again, want to thank y'all. Thank you.